Back here at Big 12 Football Media Days in Frisco, Texas, previewing the Kansas State football team for this upcoming year here today for day one of Big 12 Football Media Days. Joining us now, McPherson's own Cody Stufflebean up front on the defensive line. Cody, glad to have you here. Of course, you've been playing for a little bit now, so I'm sure you feel like a grizzled vet going into this year. So how you feeling going into this year for 2025?
Yeah, I'd say it's great. Like you said, the game kind of slowed down a little bit last year, so being able to hopefully bring some of that experience to a really talented defensive end room, and then personally having it slow down a little more for me and maybe get a little bigger edge and a piece of my game here or there.
How was spring ball? You and I were just chatting it up a little bit. Spring ball, talking to coach, way different this year compared to previous years because of the amount of injuries that you guys had.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of those individuals who was rehabbing. So what was spring like for you, not getting an opportunity to be out there on a regular basis? What was it like for you to miss that time for spring?
Yeah, it definitely sucks. Still being able to go to meetings and be locked in and being able to provide insightful bits to people that are around you and kind of learning some from your past experiences too. Just getting to focus on that was definitely one of the tougher things, and trying to lead somebody from the sideline where you're not doing it at all. It's definitely like kind of intimidating, where why should they listen to me if I'm not even personally doing it myself? So it's kind of just a different experience.
What was last season like for you? Because the first couple years you saw action, but last year you were a starter for the first time. You got your first starts. Took a little while to work your way up, but of course there's been some talented guys as well ahead of you. So what was 2024 like for you to get all those starts for the first time in your career?
It's definitely a cool experience, and then just being trusted enough to go out there and do your job and being able to perform for not only the other players but the coaches and then kind of the fan base as a whole too. It's a cool experience to go out there and play.
Yeah. How did you finally get the opportunity to start? Because it's not just an overnight, hey, there you go, Cody, there you go. You got to work at it, obviously. So what was the difference with last offseason that allowed you to have that type of year where you were the regular starter for Kansas State?
I think a lot of it is kind of learning from the people that came before you. Like, I've had a lot of great people there before, like you said, with getting to watch Felix and Duke, Mott and Nate, and some really good pass rushers and good base down players. So just being able to take parts of their game, get to see how they watch film, know what to expect, being able to kind of slow the game down, just not going out there and I'm running a play, this is what I do, knowing what to expect.
And in your position, too, you understand that it's just because you're a starter doesn't mean you're out there for every defensive snap. It's always about the balance in the rotation and trying to have those fresh legs go after and get after the quarterback. So how important is it to learn that aspect, too, just knowing, hey, I got another guy that's going to come up here in 2 snaps that's going to take over for a passing down, whatever it might be. How crucial is it to get used to that aspect of knowing that it's a rotation type of game at the defensive line position?
Yeah, I'd say, like, personally, it's not that tough. Just knowing, like, that you, in the way that Klanderman kind of preaches the defense and all the coaches too, like, you have to go all out all the time. So, like, you can't realistically stay out there for 8 to 10 plays at a time. Like, you get fatigued especially when you're running to the ball every time, unless, like, it's a 3 and out, which we play a lot of great offenses in our league, so that's not usually the case. So kind of just understanding the flow of the game kind of changes how your aspect is.
Cody Stufflebean joining us here for Big 12 Football Media Days, gearing up for another season with the Cats, which will begin in Ireland here before too long, and we can certainly talk about that. But what about the defensive line unit this year, Cody? What's really the expectation for this group? Because talking with the coach earlier, he brought up just how deep the defense is. He feels like, yes, linebacker, you have a lot of talent there, but he truly feels like the strongest part of the defense is up front this year, which I feel like I've heard that a time or two before. But this year there's a lot of guys that have some playing experience, yourself included. So when you look at this group, what's really the expectation for this year? What's the defensive line unit like?
Yeah, I think just having the expectation of being able to control and kind of take over games. Like, you saw it with what happened in the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Like, it kind of just changed one of the best quarterbacks in the world just kind of took him out of the game. So like being able to go and do that from a defense would definitely help, and then being able to have good players around you like the linebackers and the safeties play off of you guys and make your job easier when they have to hold the ball a little longer. So just being able to kind of control a game and not have any mental errors, I think, would be what our expectations are.
Well, you have some great linebackers behind you. Really have a great front seven just in general. What's it like having those guys behind you, and Austin Romaine and a few others as well?
Yeah, it's definitely huge, especially with how they communicate. Just being able to tell you what they're seeing since they're standing up and they can see things a little better, and they've played a lot of ball, so they might see something that you didn't see with somebody's depth or their alignment and their stance and stuff. So being able to play with players like that makes your job easier, and it like gives you kind of a sense of calm out on the field.
What's it like playing for Coach Kleinerman?
It's really cool. Like, he's a great players coach and gets a lot of your feedback and input on a lot of things that he puts in, and being able to kind of adapt and adjust on the fly is great. Whenever somebody's beating you with this, we need to do this on the sideline, and we're putting it back in. So it's great, and like, he's easy to follow and an easy guy that you want to go out and play for.
On the opposite side of the ball, you have to go up and practice against Avery Johnson and a few others. What's it like going up against a quarterback with that type of speed and those types of legs? I'm sure for you it's a little bit of a challenge to try to keep up with that individual out there on the football field.
Yeah, definitely. Like when we're playing cut to keep and he pulls the ball and you got to chase him down from the inside and hope that your safety can cut him off from the outside and you guys can make a tackle. It's definitely a little different with the dude that runs 23 miles an hour. So definitely glad that he's on our team.
Well, and then you throw on the running backs too, right? You got Dylan Edwards, who's a little speedy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a little bit of a challenge as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the same thing. And then being able to make really good cuts like he does, it definitely makes it challenging. Good thing that they're on our team.
But what about going up against the tight ends? I think that's one area Coach Kleiman mentioned it right off the bat, just how deep this year it's going to be, which is saying something because you see some other tight ends that have been pretty darn good. Some have gone on to the NFL. Obviously, they're pretty darn solid. But you look at it, you have Garrett Oakley, you have Will Swanson, you have Braden Lofton, you have Will Ancio, you throw in Lincoln Curry into the mix. Those are five guys. I'm sure when you go up against them in fall camp, I would imagine that's also a thing that you can focus on, being able to get better going up against a group like that.
Yeah, it definitely makes you better. I would say, like, whenever you get to feel like a good blocking tight end, like how they're all coached to be with great technique, it definitely helps you whenever you're playing like a double team, when you actually have to play your technique really well instead of I'm just going to touch you kind of and walk up here and going to wait to get the ball thrown to me. So being able to get that helps, and I think that's kind of why the front seven, like you mentioned, has been able to have some success in the past.
Have you had a chance to think about Ireland yet?
Not a whole lot. We've been focusing a lot on lifting and running, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Wait, hold on. You're going over to Ireland and you're not even focusing on the trip? What? You actually have to play a football game? It's not just a vacation for you guys? How cool is it, though, getting an opportunity to do that, especially for a guy like you from McPherson, Kansas? I'm sure you never thought that you would be going to Ireland to play football in the future, but here we are getting ready for that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome experience. And kind of like you said, even though we don't get to go and just do a whole bunch of things over there, but like you never get that experience anywhere else. And then being able to play week 0 in front of pretty much everybody in America, even though it might be really early over here. So it'll be totally different.
11 a.m. is nothing, Cody. Come on now. People need to get used to that. 11 a.m. kicks, come on, not the end of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a lot of them will probably take 11 a.m. kicks compared to 7 or 8 o'clock sometimes, because I know as a player you have to deal with that on a regular basis too. It's, oh, yeah, you think you're tired at home. Just imagine the players having to sit in a hotel and relax for an entire day. That in itself is a little bit of a challenge. With you being from McPherson, with this being your senior year, which is crazy to think about, how amazing has it been to live out this dream, to don a Wildcat uniform? I'm sure you're growing up, you're always thinking about it, but you just never know if you're going to get there. And fortunately, here you are gearing up for another season with K-State. How awesome has it been to live out that dream? Yeah,
it's been cool. Like you said, I remember in 2nd grade I went to picture days with a K-State shirt and like a ball, and that's what was in my picture. So being able to come here and, like you said, live out the dream has really been an awesome experience. And then getting to be around Coach Kleiman for the past years has been awesome, and kind of what I've been able to learn from him and develop as a person has been great.
Other than Bill Snyder Family Stadium, what's your favorite place to play at?
I would say when we went to Texas in 2023 and went into overtime and stuff with 110,000 people or whatever it is, can definitely get really loud. So that was a really cool environment to be a part of.
What's the one place you don't like going to?
TCU wasn't a whole lot of
Okay.
fun.
I was waiting for you to drop KU. I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to start a little rivalry here, but nope.
No, I'd say TCU. When we went there, and they were really good in 22, and their student section was like on the field right behind you, throwing stuff at you and calling you a bunch of names. So that's what it was.
Oh, that's lots of fun, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. When you are away from football, what do you find yourself doing? Playing Madden, playing college football, checking out your rating and the new college football game. What are you doing on the side?
Yeah, mine's probably a lot different than a lot of other players since I actually have a wife. So it's not just a bunch of free time. So being able to do things together, and then with my engineering degree, I didn't have a lot of free time. So it was a lot of schoolwork, and then we get to go on walks, or we'll drink our coffee in the morning and stuff. So a lot of old person type things compared to what some of my teammates do.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
How long have you been married?
2 years and like 3-4 months, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I, we are celebrating our 3-year anniversary coming up tomorrow. So hard to imagine that that's the case. You and I can relate a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your ring. I'm like, man, it looks pretty familiar. I think we got pretty similar rings for the most part.
Yeah.
Yours might be a little bit darker. Well, Cody, really appreciate your time. It's been a blast watching you grow throughout your entire career at Kansas State. Like I told you, I'm like, man, remember watching you back in the day at McPherson High, and now here you are in your senior campaign with Kansas State. Really remarkable stuff. Thank you so much. Congratulations on all the success. Best of luck to you this year, and best of health as well.
Thank you very much.